Hi fantasy managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. So in this video we have put together a free hit for game week 25. If you are looking to get a march on your mini league rivals or just improve your overall rank, maybe this is going to be the right week for you to free hit. We're going to go through the reasons why you might want to do that. Then we'll look at our strongest 11 and who we would captain. So if you enjoy these sort of videos, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, let's take a look. The fixtures for game week 25 then are on the screen. Now, whether you decide to free hit or not is going to be very team dependent. If you haven't got 3 Arsenal players or you're not tripled up on them already, then this may be a good week to free hit. Away at Leicester, then they've got the Everton fixture at home. I definitely want 3 Arsenal players for those fixtures. Also, not many of us will have many Liverpool team players because they've just not been playing particularly well of late. If you've held on to Trent or Salah through this period, then maybe it's a good time to keep hold of it and then double up or triple up. If for me, I'm certainly looking to bring some Liverpool players into this side, but for Palace and Wolves, that just looks like an absolute golden opportunity to triple up on them, which I wouldn't necessarily do. Everton's fixtures, they've got a tough game away at Arsenal, but we've already seen what they've done against them previously. And then Wolves, Fulham and Liverpool, again, they're improved defensively, but there's maybe not that many assets we want to stay on with those. But there may be injuries, suspensions in game week 24. Then you've got European games and maybe risk of rotation. We may get team news, which could force us into a free hit. And this will just be my first draft. I'm pretty much erring against free hitting unless I have to. But if I was, this would be the side that I'd look at right now. And again, like I said, it's completely team dependent on your strategy as well. Bearing in mind, you can't use 2 chips at the same time because it is tempting, I think, if you've got Salah or bringing him in to triple captain with those 2 fixtures. We know he's nailed, and those 2 fixtures probably aren't going to get much better than Wolves and Palace. So that is a temptation. It's just perhaps if we had a bit of form behind him as well, I'll be a little bit more secure. In goal, I'm going to go for Pickford. His second fixture doesn't look great, but he's a 2-game week, double game week playing goalkeeper. So I'm happy to go with him. Under Dodge, much improved. Chance of a clean sheet, it has to against Villa. Save points maybe is what I'll be expecting against Arsenal, but I would still favour Pickford over any other single game week player at this point. And I'm still tripling up on Man City, as you'll see in a minute, because they've got a decent fixture against Forest. I don't need to worry too much about who's on the bench. I think I will have one player that I think is definitely going to be playing, but because of those double game week players, I'm really guaranteed pretty much minutes at this moment in time from them. Zinchenko, I think I would have in the side. I could go Saliba or Gabriel. I've got enough money to do it. I just think he offers slightly more attacking threat, can move into midfield, especially when they're playing 2 games. Will there be a little bit of rotation? Could he move up? 5.1, I've got the money to play for. He doesn't offer a huge amount of attacking potential, but I don't think many across the back 4 do for Arsenal. Tomiyasu would be another one possibly, but I think with Ben White and given what happened last night in the Man City game, I think he may lose his place again. And as we can see, he's not really up there in terms of expected goal involvement compared to the best, but 5.1 and a double game week player, I'm absolutely perfectly happy to bring him in. Another player that I wouldn't normally be bringing in or recommending, except for the fact he's got 2 good fixtures, Trent. Defensively, they've not been great. Kept a clean sheet against Everton, so hopefully this is another opportunity to get something, a clean sheet against Wolves, a Palace. And he's always got that attacking potential. Got 6 points in the last game. His underlying stats look great. If he could just marry that up with some clean sheets, again, he'd be a force to be reckoned with. But yeah, I'm absolutely happy to go Alexander-Arnold. And again, I've got the money. Wouldn't be a bad decision, I don't think, if you want to go to Trent. So I'd go Robertson. Just the fact that Tsimikas is possibly going to share some minutes with him, that will be what puts me off. But we'll learn a bit more about that, I think, in the Champions League. City defence, I want City player against Forest. Walker at the moment 4.8. I don't know who else. You could go Ake, but I've already played a lot of minutes. Kanji's been rested. Diaz has been sort of filtered back into the side. I'm not really sure who's absolutely nailed on other than Edison in that defence. So Walker looks like he's playing the most minutes since he's been back fit and well. So I'll be tempted to go with him. Again, I'll just have to keep an eye on those European games and see who plays in that, who gets a rest. Maybe that gives us an indication. But as with Pep, with everything, it is a risk. So that's the reason maybe I would want someone on the bench. I think Walker doesn't start. He probably doesn't come on. 0.04 doesn't offer much attacking returns, but there isn't many in that City defence that do. So Walker, he would get the nod for me. And then finally, I would end up on a double game week player as well. Max Kilman looks like he's pretty nailed it in that defence. 2 away fixtures, not ideal, but I don't think I'd want to go for Mykolenko, who'd be my choice for Everton, just because I don't want to double up when I've already got Pickford. He has the potential to get big hauls, as we see, but again, attacking returns very limited. And it is going to be a 4-3-3 formation with this. I think we've talked about it already. It has to be Salah. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but he's going to get the captain's armband. 11-point haul last game, so he's back and scoring goals. On penalties, although Liverpool still without a penalty this season, could it change? Got to be nailed. Liverpool need boys. Hopefully a bit of change in fortune. 12.6. He's expensive, but his underlying stats are still up there. He's still impressive. So Salah will be the second Liverpool player in my side. I've gone for Saka. I think he's still my preferred choice of the Arsenal midfielders. 2 fixtures, as we've already seen, decent. On pens, he looks good. Underlying stats still look pretty decent. 8.3. I would prefer him over Odegaard. I don't think there's a lot in it. Possibly pens playing further up the pitch. I would just pick him slightly ahead of Odegaard. And then in that midfield, I think I would possibly prefer to go De Bruyne, but I don't have enough money with this team. You could go Grealish. Mahrez has been starting a lot, but he has been coming off in the last couple of games. And again, another one I'd have to just keep an eye on with those European fixtures. 7.8. If he plays, he looks a great option. Can get good hauls, as we've seen in the double game week already. Away at Forest looks too good to turn around. I do want Mahrez, and as we can see, the underlying stats still look very good. Up front, I think this side pretty much picks itself. Haaland, I'm not going to talk about why we bring him in. He's just been unbelievable and just a goal machine this season, so he's going to be playing up front. Alongside him, I think for the money, I've got to go for Nketiah, and it's a double game week. You could go Kane, but I'm always going to pick a double game week player over a single game week player. So Nketiah comes in 0.79. His underlying stats still look really good. For 6.8, he looks great up front. Hopefully Jesus won't be back yet, so that won't interfere with this double game with Nketiah. Hasn't really got any Champions League involvement to worry about either. Hopefully if they play Europa, he gets a rest for that as well. And then finally, I'm going to go for my other Liverpool player, Darwin. There is a concern that Jota's back, Firmino's on the mend. Does he share minutes? Possibly. 8.7, he's been playing well, and his underlying stats just remain brilliant. At some point, you just feel like they're going to start going in for him. 8.7 looks pretty decent. It's the minutes that worry me, but I would expect him to get minutes in both games. In terms of an attacking option, I think he's probably the pick of all the double game week players. So that would be my 11. Let's have a look at the bench and also any other options that we could consider. In terms of squad value, we don't get anywhere near the budget. So this team is very affordable. I've put the cheapest possible bench on, but I would recommend that we have someone on the bench out of the following players to bolster it in case the likes of maybe Walker, Mahrez doesn't feature, because they're the only single game week players in this lot. But otherwise, I know Pickford's going to play, so I'm just going to go for the cheapest the goalkeeper out there, which would be Everton. In terms of other options then, your fixtures, like I said, we've got only 3 players not doubling. Walker, Mahrez, Haaland. I think you could, if we got news or any inclination that Walker was not going to play, we can move to any other Man City defensive asset because we just have the squad value. So if it was a Diaz who was rested midweek, we thought Rico Lewis was going to get a start. Even in midfield, we could go to from Mahrez to a Grealish if we thought, or even a Bernardo, but he wouldn't offer the same sort of attacking flair. Mykolenko looks like a decent shout as well. I just don't think I want to go 2 Everton defenders, but if you prefer that, Dan Kilman, I've got no issue with that. You could take Walker out and just say if Mykolenko gets, even if he just blanks in both but gets 4 or 5 points in terms of just appearance points, that could be the same as what Walker gets. So you could make that move if you want. The only other one possibly from a Liverpool Everton perspective would be Tarkowski. Wolves, I just don't think there's anyone that would particularly appeal, and there's no other Everton assets in terms of strikers or midfielders that I think I would get on board. Even with Calvert-Lewin fit, I'm not sure I could trust him to play both games, having hardly kicked a ball in this season. And then at home to Villa, away at Arsenal, I'm not sure how many returns he's going to get either. So there's not many options outside of this. If you're inclined that you wanted to go Odegaard instead of Saka, fine. If you wanted to go Saliba or Gabriel Zinchenko, absolutely fine as well. But this would be my side for now, and I think I'd have to revisit it come the end of the game week just before the deadline to have a look at team news and also European games, what the selection has been around that. That's it for this one then, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know in the comments below if you are free hitting in game week 25. If so, which players are you intending to bring in? Are there any players that you think I've overlooked that have to be part of your free hit for game week 25? In the meantime, we'll come back at you with a watch list, transfer videos, team selections, all that good stuff ready for game week 25. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, speak to you soon.